Hello again. First day of spring today, and it's not very nice, I have to say. A bit cloudy. Just waiting on my wife. She's in seeing the mother-in-law. We're off to the countryside to do a bit of work and see what's happening out there. So this is my favourite part of the countryside, the place that we have. It's just a natural woodland, and I think it reminds me so much of Scotland. I think that's why I like it so much. But there are some features which you certainly don't get in Scotland, and one of them is over here. Now, because today is a bit cooler, it's safe to approach. Don't know what that was. It was a wee animal. This is a wasp's nest, and they're quite common here all over the place. It's a very small wasp, but it can't have bites, I can tell you. They're dotted all over the place here. I saw a bigger one the other week, I forgot where it was. So it's now springtime, the greenery is starting to grow up. But in the winter time it all dies back. And I come here and I kid on, I'm back in Scotland. I get a wee fire going with a billy can on it, and have a wee hour to myself because it's nice and peaceful here, and think of home. And then we come down here, still nice and natural, not been spoilt. Lots of natural tree, acacia and such like, and plenty of wood for the barbecues. And we just come down here to one of the fields. We actually let this out to cereal growers, and they come and sow the crops, and they've got wheat just now, which is quite slow this year because it was very, very dry for about 6 weeks after they sowed it. And it's only been the last couple of weeks we've had any decent rain, so it should probably be about twice that size, but it's okay, it's coming up. And usually they have 2 crops a year. This is wheat, they do a rotation, the next one will be soya. And probably after that they leave the land for a wee while and probably grow corn. It's the 3 main cereals that gets grown here. Now, this fine tree that you see here is a pecan nut tree. Much bigger than I thought pecan trees were, and there you go. If you can see that, this is what the husk of the nut, and then inside it comes one of these, and then you've got to break them open, which is Argentine speciality. You just don't bring sandwiches when you want a picnic, you bring chorizo. So this is what I was coming to do today, to cut the grass. And fine selection of trees here. And araucaria, palm trees. Sounds like cockatoos up there. Bit of a pest here actually, but I like them. And here's trouble. There's the singing dog. Hey, hey! Calm down. Go. What's the singer? What's the singer? More wheat over there. Don't know if you can see through the trees or not, but we've got the cattle in the next field. Now the biggest problem here in living in the country, or having to come out to the countryside, are the roads. It's only really the main routes that are tarmacked, and when you come out to the countryside it's just dirt roads. And what happens is, when it rains, it just turns to mud. It doesn't need a lot of rain for it to turn to mud. The more rain there is, it takes longer to dry out, and you can't get out here unless you've got a four-wheel drive, which not everybody has. They have a machine. What happens when it turns to mud? Anybody that comes along it just soon makes big deep tracks which are very hard to negotiate, so they have a machine that comes out every so often, loosens it all up, levels it, and if it stays dry it's not too bad actually. So let's go and see the mothers. Just need to watch behind me, make sure there's no cars coming. So as I say, this road can become a quagmire very quickly. That's one of the reasons why we don't live in the countryside. We live in the town, which isn't far away, but you can't really afford to get stuck out here. Well, not so much me, but my wife. So. It's safer in town as well, the countryside. It's not dangerous, but it's you get more feeling of security when you're in the town, neighbours and what have you. So we've got a lot of new calves over the last 2 or 3 weeks, so we'll go and have a look at them. Now at the side of the road we have these ditches. This where we live is called, there's the two pampas, there's the wet pampa and the dry pampa. This is the wet pampa. Most of Buenos Aires is the wet pampa. The ditches at the side of the road quickly fill up with water. Don't seem to get as much as we used to, because when I first came to Argentina the roadsides it was like canals on either side going up, and then the past few years it seems to have gone away for some reason. Not sure why. People would blame global warming, but I think it's just a natural weather cycle. So here we go. We got a new gate put up last week. I'll just jump over the top.